Let's dive into it, though, guys. First topic I want to talk about is it's opening week for the MLB. There's 162 games in the season. I still consider this preseason, in my opinion. What do you guys think?
For the first 30, it's preseason.
Well, I mean, we're 4 games in, and there's 162 games in a season, guys. It's preseason.
It's too long. Yeah. Baseball season is too long. 160 games, you could just drop it to 100, and I think we'd probably be okay.
I'm curious to see if Boston repeats. The biggest thing I've noticed in the MLB news so far this week, with it being opening week, is what Bryce Harper did.
Yeah.
Right.
Bryce, he played against his old team, the Washington Nationals, earlier this week, but he didn't just treat him with kindness.
Yeah.
He shitted on him, to be honest.
Well, first of all, he went 0 for 2 at the plate, so he's giving the Nationals everything they want. He strikes out his first 2 at bats, then Nolan was telling me he just goes off.
Yeah, he proceeded to almost hit a cycle. The only thing he was missing was a triple. He hit a home run, double, and a single. I mean, shit it on him.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Well, speaking of Bryce Harper, I was talking to Corey before we started filming this. Bryce Harper's money is ridiculous. And I know we mentioned it, and I think it was the previous episode, but it is ridiculous. He's at a 13. What is it?
It's a 13-year, $330 million contract.
And
that's insane.
Corey asked me, and I completely understandable for anybody out there who's watching that does not understand the payroll of professional sports. The way these MLB guys are capable of getting away with it is there's no salary cap. This and soccer are the only ones that can get away with paying their athletes whatever they want. Big money takes little money. My point is that when you're on a salary cap, you're obviously set. You have a set financial limit and budget to what your franchise can spend. Regardless of how much money your organization has in the bank, you can only pay them X amount because that's what the league standards go by. So, which is where you dive into rookie clauses and CBA rookie contracts and why they've limited that, and rookies can't make big time money nowadays like they could in the NFL. I mean, we won't dive into all that weird stuff, but that's real. And the leagues have tried to put a handle to get back on that, and they honestly have done a decent part for the most. They're getting their money back. It's for rookies who come in the league, other than MLB.
Yeah.
Other than MLB, for rookies who come in the league in the NBA and the NFL, you have to prove yourself. You can't come in the league and sign big time contract money like guys who have been in the league for 14 or 15 years have, or even 8 years, who are considered superstars. Just because you're coming in highly touted doesn't mean you get that money because of the rookie clause in the CBA contract. You with your 3-year or 4-year contract.
Well, you haven't proven yourself.
You haven't proven yourself.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
But I mean, here's the thing. Do you really think that they're going to get that kind of payoff of someone like Bryce Harper for over 13 years? Is that going to be proved to be worth it? Or is it going to be dude, this guy pulled an arm. He's not going to be able to play?
I'd imagine towards the tail end of his 13 year. I'm curious to see how much of that's guaranteed, and I'm curious to see, because that's what's important. What's important is what's guaranteed, because after what's guaranteed doesn't matter. Meaning whatever in the 3, I don't know, look it up. Eventually you can look up what's guaranteed of Bryce Harper's deal, because after that doesn't matter. I mean, obviously it was glitz and glamour. They could pay him $330 million. That's all that's saying.
Now, is the MLB a players' league like the NBA is, or is it more of a coach's GM league? Because I had Nolan look up the salaries for the GMs and stuff for the Phillies, and he signed their GM has a $300 million 10-year contract. So I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah. The managers in that's a good question. Managers in MLB are actually hold more of a. I need to articulate this in such a way. Okay, I'll start saying, who was the Yankees manager when they won the 5 World Series, Nolan? It was Joe. It was not Joe. Joe Tessitore is the damn NCAA football guy. It was. I can't remember. Long story short, they do pay managers well, because you're paying these guys. They actually, I don't know why that is, but there's more of a respect for the managers, and they do hold longer of a career. Like you said, that's the thing I've noticed right there. He's on a 10-year. The money's not as surprising. It's the contract length.
Oh, yeah, the commitment to
The
that
commitment to
particular
that
guy.
coach and that organization that they're willing to do. That's
Billy Martin is the
no. When Derek Jeter was the coach, the very when he was, just type in 2001 New York Yankees World Series team. Anyways, my point is this, Corey. It's actually a respectable sport in the fact that you get paid what you produce. There's no and in the NFL, there's a lot of guys who I've talked to, who I know who will have direct ties. We're going to bring KB on Sunday. Kendall Bars, my buddy, whose cousin plays on the Denver Broncos. I spoke with you guys last time about him. He will be on the next episode. But like I was talking with him about it, and I know Aaron Colvin. Okay, you either have your money and have proved yourself, or you don't have money and you're working to prove yourself. And even the guys who have money, just because they have money, they could be on the tail end of it because they just got paid for what they did years ago. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in the MLB, they're the only league that gets you immediately what you deserve in retrospect. But in hindsight 2020, franchises could be overpaying young athletes.
Yeah,
yes.
losing money on the.
But they also it makes other franchises, Corey, obsolete, because if I can pay you more than him, regardless of him being a better ball player, he's going to take the more money.
That's why
This is
New
why,
York's
yeah.
always stacked.
Yes.
This is why I think it's silly that what's his name, the OU Kyler, is going football instead of baseball right now.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I prefer football to baseball like Kyler, but I'm just saying, long term, I think he'd be safer going that way.
Yeah.
Long term, yeah.
Well, you
You're
know what's
totally
probably
right.
crazy? I never really even thought about this, is that if he did, he can still do it.
He still could. Yeah, no, he can have both offers on the table and take
He could.
either
So, well,
one.
obviously, he did give Oakland his money back, but meaning if he somehow has an injury that kicks him off the football field, but he can still play baseball.
Play some ball, yeah. Speaking of NFL, I know you want to go to the Dolphins now. Or you want to talk some Miami.
No, what I want to know is who was that damn MLB?
So I got it right here. I got it pulled up. It's Joe Torre.
Joe Torre. See, I wasn't okay. I said Joe Tessitore. That was the NCAA game day guy. You know, the Home Depot guy. But yeah, Joe Torre. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Okay, a guy like that. No, we'll move on to NFL here in a second. But a guy like that guy, they would pay that dude as much money as he wanted to stay. But in the NBA and the NFL, they're so quick to move past it, dude, that it's hard to see your bill. That's why Bill Belichick's rare, is because that franchise is actually committed to him, man. They're like, as long as you want, coach. However much you want, coach.
Steelers have stuck it out for a pretty good long time.
With
their
Tomlin,
current-
I mean,
he's not that long. Not Bill Belichick.
No, exactly.
But
Not Joe Torre long. Not Bill Belichick long.
But they don't hit a rough patch like that.
What was that Dodgers guy we used to laugh at, who would be making fun of the Bavacqua guy? What was that guy? What was that guy's manager's name? The L.A. Dodgers guy we used to make fun of, talking about Bavacqua.
Yeah. Oh man.
You got to, Nolan, type that up. Just type in L.A. Dodgers Bavacqua. It'll pop up. Trust me. But like that, the Dodgers were committed to him. They're with him forever. Like, that's what's cool about that.
Yeah.
But it's happened with very select few guys in NFL and NBA. Another guy in the NBA would be Phil Jackson. The Chicago Bulls bend over backwards for him when he was there. The LA Lakers bend over backwards for him when he was there. But another one in the NBA, Greg Popovich, the San Antonio Spurs would bend over backwards for him. He's still there. But you guys got, they're few in between. I mean, our Oklahoma City Thunder, we're going to talk about this later. Their coach, to me, is on the hot seat, and I was even talking about this privately, just internally on our videos with just Oklahoma City Thunder's fans. And if you were a fan, you would know it by watching. But now it's hit nationwide. I mean, they're starting to put Billy Donovan on the seat on ESPN. I'm seeing it on major networks now. But like I said, we'll dive into that.